Rogers Hampton, I'm Patrick Netherton. This is the Patrick Netherton Show here on 1130 The Tiger, and very much excited to chat with our next guest, a man who's had quite a journey from California to Natchitoches to Canada to Arizona and now down to Tampa Bay and in the NFL, coming back off of an injury and looking forward to a big season. He is Bryant Mitchell joining us now on the phone. And Bryant, how are you, man?
I'm doing well. How are you?
Man, I'm fantastic. All right, so this has got to be kind of strange, and we'll get your backstory here in a second. But this has got to be kind of strange. You're finishing your rehab up. You're trying to get back to full strength and get ready for the season. There's a pandemic going on. The NFL, all the NFL offices have been closed. What have you been trying to do to get in shape, stay in shape, and get ready for the season when you don't really have access to the training facilities you'd like?
Honestly, I just utilize what I do have, and just put myself to the test. Just really go out there and prove to myself how disciplined I can be, and like I said, just doing what I know that needs to be done to be prepared for this season.
Is juggling while doing one-legged squats on a Bosu ball part? I mean, come on, man. Like, that's just showing off at this point, isn't it? Come on.
Yeah. It's funny. My best friend, his name is Brandon Zylstra. He actually plays for the Panthers.
Mm-hmm.
He and I always have little competitions like that. If you've seen our single leg squat competition we did on Twitter, he killed me. So I had to pull out something.
Well, I mean, literally, Rogers and I were talking about it. And by the way, Rogers, my producer, suggested that, hey, if the NFL thing doesn't work out, you could get a job in the circus with that act. You certainly be ready to go. But man, that's like, was that a one-take deal? Like, did you fall a bunch of times? How did that go?
No, honestly, so I'll post a video here in the next couple hours, actually, of the drill we were doing prior to that. We were doing single leg Bosu ball catches over the shoulder, calling out, which hand we had to catch with. And it was actually another ex-teammate of mine. His name's Ish Hyman. He actually plays for the Panthers now as well. But he and I were doing that, and then, we got there the next day, and I looked at it, and I was just juggling, and I looked down, and I saw the Bosu ball. I said, man, I'm just going to try it. And so, honestly, it was, a first-take thing, and I just did it.
That's impressive. I'm not going to lie. By the way, if you want to follow Bryant, all of his Instagram, his Twitter, at _BMitch16, at _BMitch16. All right, let's back up a little bit here because you've been on quite a journey that took you from California to Natchitoches to Canada to Arizona to Tampa, and all kids, I'm assuming, have that same dream, going to the NFL, being in the NFL. But tell me about back in California when you're out of high school, you're JUCO, you're getting ready to go college. Tell me about how that journey has been for you to make it all the way into not just professional football at the CFL level, but now breaking into the NFL.
It's been a blessing. I left high school with no college offers, not one. I had some walk-on offers for basketball and a couple for track, some partial scholarship offers for track, but I truly wanted to play football. I sat out 2 years junior college from playing football and played 1 year in junior college and essentially came to Northwestern and played 2 years there. I tore my labrum going into my senior season. So, things just kind of looked a little dismal. And, going into the CFL, I had no offers from the CFL or the NFL to go play football after I left Northwestern. But, just in the people that I've had around me, my trainer, Alex Johnson Jr. over at Alex Johnson Sports and Fitness in San Diego, he was a true blessing to me at the time. And, at a point where I wanted to give it all up, he told me to keep pressing. And I went to a few CFL workouts, and I hadn't gotten signed. And he told me, when I was giving up, or I thought I was going to give up, he said, hey, stick it out. This team is going to sign you. I just know it. And that's when Edmonton had signed me. And many people don't know I was actually released my first year in the CFL, which was 2015. I was released after training camp, and I spent that whole year working at an online college.
Yeah.
It's called Ashford University. And, he and I, like I said, him just being in my corner for almost, 10 years now, we just got back to work. And every morning I would wake up at 4 a.m. and we would go from working out to, me going to work and, coming back after work to do some ball drills. So, just in the process, like I said, man, just having those people in my corner, it really helped me out. And, the transition was pretty smooth. I only played 3 years in Canada. My first year, I played one game. I was on the practice squad the whole year. Second year, I was on what they call the one-game injured list. I played 7 games that year. And 2018 actually was my breakout year.
Mm-hmm.
I led the league the last 8 games of the season. But to go into that season, I, had a hamstring injury, and it sidelined me. And, like I said, coming out those 8 games, I led the league. And so, fortunately and, thankfully to God, I was able to turn that into an NFL career.
Correct me if I'm wrong. Was Arians the guy that signed you in Arizona and then you went with him to Tampa?
No.
Okay,
so,
tell me how that went down.
So our receiver coach, Kevin Garver, and our offensive coordinator, Byron Leftwich, actually were in Arizona.
Mm-hmm.
And I had worked out for them. And after I worked out, they actually tried to play me that Sunday. I worked out for them on a Wednesday. They wanted to play me on Sunday, which, says a lot.
Yeah.
So they ended up, after the season, they ended up getting let go, and they came over here to Tampa Bay. And so, as with anything, professional sports is very unknown. They drafted 3 receivers, and they let me go after drafting the 3 receivers, and which was okay, but, like I said, I just thank God they got to see me, and they called me, and I was here literally a week later. I was released on a Thursday, and I signed here on a Thursday, so it was a blessing.
Well, and you catch the eye of the coaching staff because, you were kind of a darling in preseason. Then comes the Achilles injury before the season ever really got started. And, you'd mentioned the labrum at Northwestern and the hamstring in the CFL. Is that difficult to keep picking yourself back up off of an injury and just, wanting to go, okay, why can't I just stay healthy for this length of time, even if it's just a small nagging injury that gets you for a week or two? Do you just, how hard is that to continue to marshal that resolve to get back up and go, okay, we're going to get back in it, we're going to rehab and be ready to go again?
Honestly, man, I have true faith in God, and I have faith in what I believe He's called me to do. He's put me on this platform for a reason, to spread the gospel of who He is. So I truly believe that no matter what, man, I'm here for a reason. And, the work is going to be put in. The Bible says how faith without works is dead. So I have faith, and I'm going to put the work in. It's almost like Kobe said, when he tore his Achilles. It's like, okay, I moped about it for a day. Now it's time to get to work. And I think that, it just proves the kind of guy I am. I've been resilient my whole life. Growing up, single mom, 5 kids, I've had to be resilient. And then, I have 3 kids of my own. So, just that mentality of even showing them, what it's like to never give up on your dreams. I think that, is what really keeps me going.
I was mentioning before we had you on, Bryant, talking to Bryant Mitchell, wide receiver for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, former Demon, former Edmonton Eskimo, now up in the bigs, as they say. And I was mentioning that, watching you in college, great personality, great kid, talented, but I didn't look at you and go, oh, this is a definite surefire NFL guy. I said, this is a very talented kid, but what it does go, and you've mentioned this, here, what it does go to show is that if you take your talent and you maximize it as you have, you can go places. And I, that's a credit to you, man, because look, you have talent. There's no doubt about it, but you've also maximized what you've got.
Yeah, I truly thank you for that. It's funny you say that. Actually, I was on the phone with Coach Derek Foster.
Mm-hmm.
He was actually my receiver coach my senior year.
Yeah. But
he and I were talking, and he said the same thing. But what it came down to, was also opportunity. A lot of times, and even college and the NFL and anywhere that you go in life, a lot of times it's about the opportunity. And if you keep working when the opportunity presents itself, if you're ready for that opportunity, you know, you will make it. And I think that that's what it came down to. You know, and when I was at Northwestern, I had, like you said, some small knickknacks that actually helped me out. And, you know, the opportunity didn't present itself in terms of, you know, Tuff McClain was a great receiver.
Yeah.
He played great. And he and I were splitting time because, you know, though I was the starter before I got hurt, and he was playing his butt off when it came down to camp. So, you know, just in that sense, you know, when that opportunity comes, you definitely got to be prepared.
Talking to Bryant Mitchell, wide receiver for the Buccaneers. All right, so the Buccaneers are kind of the it team of the offseason now. Gronk, Tom Brady, you know, everyone loves Arians. We all love how he rolls. Tell me about kind of as the news filtered to you that, okay, you know, Jameis Winston is gone. Everyone kind of knew he probably was going to be gone. But then, okay, now it's Tom Brady, arguably the best quarterback in the history of the league. Tell me about your reaction when you hear this.
So, you know, with Jameis, you know, he's actually one of my favorite people in the world. Mm-hmm. Had a great time playing with him. He's actually a really great quarterback and the hardest worker I've ever met in my life. So, you know, that's a credit to him. Man, but when I heard about Tom Brady, I was in awe. If you've ever heard about the story of when I was at Northwestern State, after I had my labrum surgery, the Patriots had talked to me the day before my surgery. Mm-hmm. And so after I have you can ask the doc about it, even the team chaplain. But the day after I had my surgery, or when I had my surgery, I came out of the anesthesia, and I guess this is what the doctor told me. I told him he had better done my surgery right because I was going to be catching balls from Tom Brady.
I love it.
And you see life comes full circle and how God works. So, you know, it definitely stoked me out. I was definitely excited. I'm glad to, you know, be playing with him and learn from him and, you know, soak up all the knowledge that he has for the game.
Have you heard from him yet?
You know, so with all the quarantine going on, you know, I don't want to really be a bug, but I'm sure we'll get together soon.
Yeah. I know he was. I know last I'd heard he was trying to kind of work his way through all of his receivers, trying to get in touch with everybody. So that's gonna be quite awesome, man. No doubt. All right. So tell me, you're back in Florida again. Tell me about kind of where you're at in terms of your rehab, where you feel like you are in terms of being in condition to get back and get ready for camp whenever all of this stuff opens back up.
Oh, yeah. No, I finished rehab a couple months ago, actually. You know, I got cleared. I'm 100%. I've been running routes with a few of our quarterbacks, Blaine Gabbert and Ryan Griffin. You know, so just being in shape, I'm, you know, at 100%. You know, there's nothing that I'm limited in. So, honestly, and my conditioning is great. One thing I've implemented this year is, you know, just doing more things in terms of body maintenance, but also making sure that after every catch, I finish. After, you know, in every run, I do extra. Even though I've always done that, you know, just making sure that I'm doing it in this environment because it's a little different.
Well, that's the Jerry Rice way, right? I mean, Jerry Rice famously would always look in every pass he ever caught, even in practice.
Yeah.
You know,
and, you know, just those small things.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, so do you what's kind of learning the playbook like? Is it ostensibly the same stuff that Byron Leftwich had when you were with him in Arizona? Is it some different stuff? What are you seeing, and how much do you think Tom Brady will have an influence on what the playbook looks like?
You know, Tom is a very cerebral guy, so I definitely expect there to be, you know, some differences. Definitely expect, you know, for some things to, you know, change up, but for the most part, you know, it's pretty refresher to me. You know, I was here all of last year,
sure.
And even though I was hurt, one thing that I made sure I did was I made sure that I went to every meeting and I went to every practice. So, you know, that's just the kind of guy that I am. I'm a team first guy, and I'm also a guy that, you know, is going to show you, like, I want to be here. So, you know, for me, it's more of a refresher at the moment, and just even then, you know, learning just the new stuff, the new basics, and, you know, working my way through those things. But all in all, you know, I would say I'm pretty, you know, in tune with it.
Are you? Was there some feeling back when the injury happened? Like I mentioned, it was right before the season. Was there some feeling that this might be you know, the NFL's kind of cold-blooded? maybe they get rid of me, they cut me, that kind of thing. What was that like when you were waiting to figure out what your future might hold after the injury?
Honestly, man, when the injury happened, our trainer told me, he said, "You're going to be all right, kid." And at that moment, it was like, I'm telling you, it was like an out-of-body experience. It was like God was speaking to me personally. And it was just, all I heard was, "I'm going to get the glory." And in that moment, it gave me so much peace about the situation. Don't get me wrong, there were still some times where I was just kind of, okay, what's going to happen? But all in all, I truly had a lot of peace about what was going on. And, man, like I said, I think just showing them that I wanted to be here and just working my butt off to get back. Yeah, there was that thought, oh, this may be the end of my career. I definitely thought that.
Yeah.
But at the same time, them keeping me around, them allowing me to be in every meeting, them talking to me just as if I was playing, that really gave me a lot of reassurance. And coaches like BA and, Byron and Kevin, even Coach Randle-el, having him over here has been such a blessing that, man, when they re-signed me not too long ago, it was just like, man, like I was so thankful for it.
Yeah, and that was actually my next question is, and the ultimate payoff is you get a deal, right? You're not having to fight your way through training camp to potentially get a deal. You've got a contract right now. Even if it's for a year, you got a deal, and that's a huge thing. Yeah,
like a lot of guys, coming off injury don't get that same deal, and thankful for my agent, Joe Lenta, really working hard on my end. But also, man, just, making sure that I was prepared, so that when they saw me, hey, I was there every day for rehab. I busted my butt in rehab, and, these are the results that can happen when you put God first and you work hard.
Yeah, as the old saying goes, luck is when preparation meets opportunity. So there's no such thing as luck when you're working hard. Also, I just need you, Bryant, to stop talking about your coaches, Antoine Randle-el and Byron Leftwich, because that makes me feel ancient right now. Since I remember those guys in college.
Together.
Oh, that makes me feel so old. Hey, man, look, it is absolutely a joy to see that you've been on this journey, that you made yourself into the player you have. You're in the NFL. I wish you the best of luck. You never know. We might see you on that opening week down in New Orleans. You might sneak down there and try to go catch that game. But, man, congratulations on the journey, and keep going. We want to see you catching a ton of balls from Brady this year.
Oh, thank you. You definitely will.
That's Bryant Mitchell, wide receiver for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Good stuff.